The best player in Geometry Dash history. This is part 1 of Samifying's Space UK series. We'll be reacting to part 1 today, and we'll react to part 2 tomorrow. Now, my chat has already told me a little bit about Space UK. I would say the 3 pillars of being a Geometry Dash streamer, the 3 things you can't, like, your chat will tell you almost immediately. Doggy is verifying grief, Zoink is the GOAT, and Space UK cheated. So I have not been able to, even as a Geometry Dash noob, I have not been able to avoid the information of Space UK cheating. So I'm not going into this video with a complete, fully new perspective on the situation, but I don't know all the details of what happened with the Space UK situation, nor how it unfurled, nor how it affected the community at large at the time. So that is why I'm going to be reacting to the Samifying video. And since I know that information, that's why you, the audience, also needs to know that I know that information. His scandal changed the game a lot.
The largest scale hacking scandal we have ever seen in this game.
He was forced to confess. It was not something that he did willingly.
It changed an entire 2 years of Geometry Dash top player history.
I know how much money you made from YouTube. It wasn't a small amount.
All of us have that one game that we share a very special connection with. Either because it helped us get through a rough time in our life, or it allowed us to meet others and form long-term friendships. In my case, that game...
Yo, W Gary's Mod. I know some of the younger people these days, y'all never got to play Gary's Mod, and for that, I weep for you.
Geometry
That game was sick, bro. I played that game all the time back in middle school.
Dash. A silly little mobile game that you even might have had on your phone at some point. But do not let that undersell you on the absolute insanity that has occurred over the years in this game. Because it turns out, I was not alone. There's millions of other players that enjoy the game just as much as I do. And when a community like that forms, it is only natural for the game to become competitive.
Oh my god!
Makes sense?
What? I just beat EXO!
It is hard to put into words the amount of skill these players have.
I will say, this is something I've never understood with really any game community. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've never gotten good enough at a game to experience this, but I've never understood, like, you know, with like speedrunning leaderboards, how like one player is like, oh no, I'm the best. And that inspires another player to like push past their limits. Like for me, playing a game has always been like, I'm competitive with myself. I'm not really competitive with others. Even in like skills-based matchmaking where I'm going up against other people, I'm not going against them because I want to beat them. I'm going against them because I want to become a better version of myself, which I guess could be said the same way when you're like inspired by someone you're literally going to head head with, like on top of a leaderboard. But all that's to say, Aeon Air beating Prometheus.
From
What was the name of that level?
executing almost pixel-perfect movements to pushing the limits of what humans can do in this game. Tons of friendly rivalries have formed over the years, with top players helping each other out and cheering each other on. It was all about pushing the limits together. However,
TeejVeen, why do you not have enemies, bro? Leave some chill pills for the rest of us. I just don't like having enemies, I think. Promethean, thank you, Xplex.
the story that I'm gonna tell you today...
By the way, y'all, in case you aren't familiar, Samifying is a fox, and currently in this frame, we have the backwards 3 once again, but the roasted marshmallow on the fire is a fox. Is
what happens
still
when one of those players decides that everyone else is worth jack shit.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to talk more about this. Like, I don't want to get too deep into this when we're not even that deep into this video react series, but cheating as a concept really confuses me, even with the point I was just making about how, like, I'm more competitive with myself than with other people. So let's put a pin in that for now. I'm sure there's going to be a point where we can talk about it more or it comes up more organically, but cheating doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you're just cheating yourself. And I'm not saying that to just give myself a gold star. Like, wow, look at the super good opinion I have. But I do think cheating's cringe. Oh, Space UK cheated? Part 1 to 2, Chapter 0.
Welcome to Geometry Dash. Originally starting as a mobile game, it was...
Y'all remember Candy Crush? I feel like Candy Crush had a chokehold on all of humanity, and then it just kind of like disappeared.
was eventually released on Steam a year later. The gameplay is actually very similar to the old classic The Impossible game, but with way more layers added on top of it, including an editor. This means anyone can go and create their own unique user level.
How many people here in chat, how many of y'all have used the level editor to make your own levels? I'm just curious because I still haven't made a level, but I know a lot of people, they love doing it.
And upload them to the servers for others to play. This feature alone is basically what has carried this game over the years. The developer himself clearly has shown no signs of maintaining the game on an active basis, which means we rely on players to create levels and content to play. And oh my god, they do it well.
Yeah, dude, I was that. Look at that toad frog, man, with the stony face. And he got some moss as a head and some mushrooms growing out of it. Bro, I've never seen this. Wait, can you like import images into Geometry Dash to use as backgrounds? I guess you have to. Wait, that was a stupid question. I was like, they didn't build this out of like Geometry Dash blocks, did they? I was thinking it was Minecraft. Oh yeah, with mods, that makes sense. I was like, how did they build this out of like Geometry Dash assets? I'm kind of a dumbass sometimes. They did build it? How? Yo, okay, super good React take I'm about to have. I think that Geometry Dash levels look cool sometimes. Like, I think some people have made some really cool looking Geometry Dash levels. Thoughts? I know that's a little controversial, but I want to hear your thoughts on that take. Because you can expect the spiciest of takes here. Look at this.
This game is truly blessed with one of the most passionate and creative communities out there. A badge that we should wear proudly wherever we go. But
dude, and people reacted to my last video with this. It's like, y'all need to understand, like, yes, W Geometry Dash community, it's awesome. Y'all need to understand that there are other communities, game communities that exist where people make custom levels. You need to understand that there are other game communities where people make custom levels and they keep raising the stakes of the skill ceiling of the game. Because some Geometry Dash people, some of the people who commented on my last React video, they clearly don't understand that. They think Geometry Dash is the only game in existence that's ever had custom levels made by its community. And it is insane. Y'all need to like broaden your scope of familiarity with games.
It's not just on the creative side where players have pushed the limits over the years.
But yes, W Geometry Dash community, it's awesome.
Like in any game, with difficulty comes glory. One of the most prestigious titles any player can hold is to be the verifier of the current hardest level. The community has gathered over the years to create a list that ranks levels based on their difficulty, with the level that sits on the throne on top being the current hardest level that anyone has ever beaten. An absolute horrid and treacherous task that has taken a toll on many of the best players in the game. Beating a top 1 demon is not something that you do overnight. It's a journey that can take hundreds of thousands of attempts to complete. But at the end, you stand as a true symbol of determination.
That is crazy for me to think about because I've just been motivated by new hardest all of my Geometry Dash journey, and I've already experienced just the exponentiality behind how much longer my grinds take. Like, there was a time when I played this game and I could beat not even just a new level, but like a new hardest, like multiple new hardests in one day. I am no longer in that part of my game progression anymore. So that is part of like, I am really interested in how like this game, I don't even know if it's like, obviously it is addictive to a sense, but I am curious about like what drives a player even at like this level of play to just continue to stare deeper and deeper into the void that is like trying to best this game, right? Like that ultimately when you're trying to get better at a game, it's like you are trying to beat the game. Historically, beating a game just meant beating the level. But in a game where customized levels are infinite, it's like you can't ever really beat the game. But it is kind of like you're breaking in a wild horse. It's kind of beautiful, man. Like there's no true preordained end goal. It's just like as far and as deep as you want to go, the void simply will continue to stare back at you. Godspeed.
Determination and skill, with everyone's attention on you. So what would happen if someone tried faking their way to the top?
If someone faked their way to the top, that would be so cringe. But I don't think anyone would ever do that in GD.
Because a lot of people say that anyone can beat anything in this game, which I personally kind of believe. On one end, it's just kind of like a dedication thing. But
I agree.
because the game is so simple by nature, the #1 player is kind of like what you should reach after. Kind of like a swimmer trying to become Michael Phelps, right? But without the genetic advantage.
The history of the #1 player actually goes really far back. Over the years, a countless number of players have actually shared that title. Whoever was considered the best player was actively beating the hardest levels and pushing the boundaries of this game further. This title, however, would always be in contention. For a majority of this game's lifespan, it actually always was a group of players that was hanging around at the top. You would have constant rivalries with both sides just pushing each other further.
That's how a lot of games go. Like, I think about Smash. Like, have any of you ever watched the Smash documentary? It's very similar. I mean, a lot of burgeoning game communities, it's always like that. Like, there's kind of like a Mount Rushmore of players who are constantly like pushing each other to improve.
And further.
It takes a while for like a singular GOAT to kind of form.
And while they were having an end-of-the-world Dragon Ball fight up there, the rest of the community was trying to keep up. From an outsider's point of view, this was absolutely amazing to watch. Sitting around in streams all day, watching them throw attempt after attempt at what seemed to be an unbreakable wall. It's like rooting for your favorite football team. You want them to succeed, you want them to beat that level because you know how much work and effort that they put into it. There's a certain level of trust that the community has between them and the top players. Trust that sadly has been abused in the past before. As I explained in my Impossible Levels video,
I don't know who Cyclic is either, Chad.
one of the biggest rivalries in Geometry Dash history
Who's
was
that?
between Riot and Cyclic. And if you watch that video, you know how that turned out.
I have not watched that video. Should I watch that video? Wait, there's a Riot versus Cyclic video. I have heard about Riot randomly from my chat. I think Riot was the one who verified Bloodbath. Is that what I know about Riot? Cyclic created Sonic Wave. Cyclic's a really old hacker. Okay.
It turned out Cyclic had cheated everything. Apparently, not a single one of his completions that we all knew him for, that we all loved him for, was legit. This is something
That's cringe, Cyclic. Can I just say that's cringe?
that struck a dagger deep into the heart of the community. Up until that point, it wasn't really precedented that a community figure,
Like that. Okay, so that's what I want to say. It's like, I get it that like cheating and putting yourself at the top and getting like beloved by everybody because they think that you're really cool. Like, I get that motivation. I just don't understand how people live with themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's like, we've all recognized that the whole point of Geometry Dash is about the relationship between the player and themselves and how they can push past their mental limits to reach like new heights that they never thought possible. When a game and its skill is determined almost entirely based off of that, on how powerful your relationship of self is, it makes even less sense to cheat. Like, it's almost like, you know how people like cheat in Counter-Strike and they use like aimbot and like headshots? It's like the point of the game is to like win, right? You're supposed to beat the other team. In a game that is solely based on you getting better at the game and being at the top of the game, like you yourself, that's why it makes so little sense. You're not trying to really beat anybody else. You're just like, I don't know, man. I think that's so cringe. That's just like a weak ego. It's like you deleted the whole point of the game. And that's why I understand the propensity for that some people do cheat. I just don't understand the reasoning for what the point is. It's a hollow victory. It's like, yeah, dude, like people might, like, is it worth it to be beloved for no reason? Like, how do people live with that? Like, and that's one thing, like, I've been a people pleaser for a lot of my life. Like, I understand wanting to like satisfy others, but it's so weird to me that some people are just like, at any cost to be beloved by many, even if it's for something that I didn't earn, that's okay with me. That's what's mind-blowing to me. And also, how do you sleep at night?
someone that we all looked up to would abuse our trust.
It's because they want to be the best, right? But like, I get that they want to be the best because to them, they don't want to be the best because of how meaningful it like the journey of becoming the best is. Like, they don't want to grind there. They don't want to learn new things about themselves on the journey of success and failures that it takes to become the best. They just want to be the best so others can see them being the best and glaze them. And I think that's so, like, again, I don't want to put a gold star on my just for like, oh, W, like popular opinion, but it's like, my whole life, I want to understand how some people operate, and I just don't understand how you land there. It's so gross and just sad and misleading. And honestly, can I say it? Capital P, pathetic. I don't get it.
In such a blatant way.
In an interview, Space did say he had trouble sleeping. You know, honestly, good. Honestly, good. And I know I've heard from my chat that Space UK is like, since like he's been on like a reformation path, he allegedly no longer cheats, and now he's like very like by the book. It's like, yeah, dude, if you do dumb stuff like this to try and get like, it's like people say, it's if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah, if the simple path to becoming the best in a game is simply to cheat the way there, you're not cheating anyone else. You're simply cheating yourself first and foremost. So I would certainly hope for like your own soul's sake that your conscience would feel horrible about that. And you deserve to.
And you would think that from that, people would have learned. When you cheat, sure, short term, you get lots of attention and people think you're actually good at the game. But long term, you're not only hurting yourself, but an entire community of genuine, hardworking players. And the person I'm gonna talk about today, for some reason, just didn't get that.
Damify spitting, bro.
He was hard to comprehend in terms of skill, just because it was so... He was such a weird player that you've never really seen before.
Like, he was beating stuff way faster than anything or anyone else. Like, it was something like people have never seen before. It was like way faster than Switch, like fast.
Yeah, honestly, Space UK has kind of redeemed himself, but we won't forget what he did. Here's the thing. I'm a strong proponent for redemption, where redemption is like, there are some acts that humans can make that are irredeemable, in my opinion. I'll let y'all go ahead and kind of play your own mind games to get there, but I think a lot of us know what I'm talking about. But there are things like cheating where I'm like, okay, yes, I do believe that people deserve a shot at redemption. But yeah, it is a case of like, we can forgive, but we can't forget. Like, all of the rest of Space UK's reality, he has this besmirched name that he has to rise above even harder than the next person who has never been outed for cheating. And like, we should respect that on one hand, but two, he did it to himself. I'm glad he's decided to walk a more respectable path, but the more respectable path would have just never to have cheated to begin with. And that's just kind of the L you have to hold for the rest of your life, which, you know, best of luck to him. But, you know, it is very hard to gain people's trust. It is so easy to lose it.
Faster than anyone.
Put yourself in
What's your opinion on apples? Asking the real questions. They're good.
the mind of a player in 2020. At this point, the game has almost 7 years of incredible achievements on its back. We went from hating on hard levels to them becoming the spectacles of the community. But even then, at this point in 2020, new players were improving faster than ever. This was an era defined by a new generation of incredibly versatile players that were beating things at a faster rate than ever before. Tartarus, the hardest level at the time, had just received some competition. A new level was just added to the Demonist, and some people were saying,
Not gonna lie, I don't even know why he even thought of cheating. He's actually a very talented player. Fragile ego. That's the thing. I mean, I don't even know enough about him as a player yet, but yeah, I can presume based off your comment that, yeah, I mean, I guess the pressure of a continued rising difficulty in skill in the game's player base when you're a competitive person, I'm sure the demons start whispering in your ear. But chat, recognize, like, all of us has the capacity to do evil. Like, as humans, there's innate, like, evil and sort of like stirring hatred that we all possess. Like, we are all capable of wicked deeds and cruelty. It is your responsibility as a person to not let the demons win. You have to rise above them. Yes, I'm sure, like, it's the whole idea of, like, you know, having a thought is one thing, acting upon that thought is a totally different thing. And I do think that, like, to be overly forgiving of people who act upon these negative thoughts kind of does a disservice to all the people who also had the thought but chose not to act upon it, you know? I feel like that's a little there's erasure of, like, all the good that people have done that have overcome those thoughts instead of simply succumbing to them.
it's harder than Tartarus. This means that for the first time in roughly 5 months, a level was actively competing with Tartarus for the #1 spot on the Demonist. This is a list
Don't let the Geometry Dash demons win, on God.
that archives and ranks the 150 hardest levels that currently have been completed by a player. There was a lot of hype around this level. Just like Tartarus, it seemed to push the boundaries of what was possible at the time. It took the verifier Enswish, who was considered the current best player, 2 entire months.
I don't know
and
any of these names,
52,000
dude.
attempts to beat it. The moment this happened, a ton of top players immediately rushed to give it a try and get progress themselves. These players included Swyborg, Rory, Wolves, Crisis, and Doggy. All players
I know that
that
name!
were about to become household names in the community. However, there was one player that kinda stood out from the rest. Someone almost nobody had heard of at the time.
Damn it, I was pausing to try and highlight the name before him.
Space UK. This guy was a nobody, to put it bluntly. Before this, only some players were actually even aware of his existence.
Yo, this is your Lion April. Space UK. You're base because you like your Lion April, but you're so unbased because you cheated. It's like every human possesses the capacity to be based and unbased.
To begin with. But that's only part of the reason why this completion is kinda special. Apparently, it was his 5th ever demon.
Your Lion GD. Yeah, you get a dap for that one.
I beat the golden. Oh, you beat it? Oh, yeah. Holy shit, that was 1 attempt.
100? Did you see that? I'm not going to rewind, but it said 100.17%. That was a bug, no?
Shit.
You see that? Oh, man, they freaking splurted all over it. Now you can't see it.
That was like hearing the golden as a top 1 being your like 5th demon or whatever was unheard of.
To the naked eye, he came out of nowhere. Like, we knew he existed and knew he was doing it, but no one really cared until he actually did it.
This was insane. A demon is the hardest difficulty rating a level can
No. It wasn't insane. It was a demon. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha! Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha!
receive, and it is split into 5 subsections, ranging from easy demon to extreme demon. Up until this point, beating any level that has reached extreme demon status would normally be a months-long journey, where you would consistently practice and hone your skills to prepare yourself for an
Wait, chat, when we're like, because I heard that earlier on in the game, it was just like 1 demon difficulty. When was like easy, medium, hard? When was that introduced? And like insane extreme?
upcoming battle. You would not just do this overnight. Playing an extreme demon is one of the toughest things you can do in this game, and even then,
What year was 2.1?
just being categorized as an extreme demon doesn't even mean that it's in the demonist. There's tons
Early 2017, thanks
of
Ruby.
extreme levels out there now,
Okay, so that's been out for the past like almost a decade.
but we only actively keep track and rank the top 150. Here is why this entire thing was kinda insane. This is Space UK's progression as a player.
Which honestly should have been a red flag, right? Or wait, no, he was probably sorry. I was jumping to conclusions. He may have already been a very talented player who was progressing very naturally without cheating, but then eventually did cheat. My bad.
He started playing the game roughly in 2019, and then beat his first ever demon, Decode.
I've heard of that one. People have asked me to play that.
A
I have
really
not.
easy demon that is a great introduction to playing harder levels in the game. As his second ever demon, he immediately decided to jump to an insane demon, Windy Landscape.
Okay, yeah, that's a really big jump. That's a little sussy buck among us.
As his third, he decided to go for another insane demon, Leyak.
This part was legit though. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying before, but this is kind of... I mean, I guess that's not crazy because we already talked about before on the stream that like given enough time, I do think that people can just kind of jump around in this game. Like I do think some GD players put a lot of pressure on like really taking your time, but it's all a question of just like how much time you're willing to put into a level, right? If you're the kind of person who doesn't want to put a lot of time into one level, then yes, a slower progression makes more sense. But if you're the kind of person where you're just like, no, there's an insane demon I really want to play and I want to beat it, and you don't care about how long it takes, why not jump?
That already kind of was amazing. New players should not choose insane demons as their second and third ever. You're supposed to show a gradual increase in difficulty, which in turn helps you practice different skill sets.
I am just so of the fluid opinion of like, do what you want. Like, I know like this is such a divisive topic. I think that there's conventional wisdom, certainly, but then there's also just like, what's your heart telling you? And I'm the kind of person where I'm like, follow your heart, baby. You got to follow your heart, baby. Baby, follow your heart.
That's from having a heavy focus on the wave game mode to being memory based. There's tons of different styles that you should actively practice. So, what did Space do next?
Not always. Okay. Dude, I love when chatters are just cryptic and they don't elaborate. Not always. Like you're some kind of like anime freaking wise old man. Okay, so he's really climbing now, huh? What's Wazaretta? It's a top 300 demon right now? Ah. Wow.
A lot of people give Space credit to be like the original jumper. And with jumping, it basically means going from one level to a much, much significantly harder level. And Space was like the
It was top 50 demon back then. Thank you.
pioneer of that method, going for the number 2 demon at the time as his 5th.
It's really hard to put into perspective how big of a jump this is. This was the moment that first catapulted him into the mainstream community. And little did people know that this was still just the start.
Wow, April 2021? That really wasn't that long ago. I know I just outed myself as Unk by saying that because some people are just like, what, Teej? That was 5 years ago. I was like 2 back then. But you have to understand, for me, 5 years ago, that was like yesterday.
Oh, this level's so shit. This level's so fucking shit.
Not only did he beat the Golden, but 3 months after that, decided to go for Tartarus. And a month after that, for Zodiac. At this point in time, this player
Look at this Zodiac!
that just came out of nowhere had beaten the entire top 5 hardest levels ever. He was slowly cementing himself as the fastest improving player the game had ever seen. And he wouldn't stop.
Nah, but little did he know 5 years later, I would be the freaking fastest improving player the world's ever seen.
Up there. It was level after level after level. He just started destroying the demon list.
It was also just like mind-blowing and impressive to just see someone so nonchalantly like shred the entire demon list. Like, there's no better way to put it. He just shredded everything.
Damn.
It's also crazy that in even 5 years, the demon list has just gotten so much harder. Like, so, like, incomprehensibly harder.
It seemed like he was here to stay. Throughout 2021, he would just be on a tear, gaining more respect and therefore more attention with every completion that he uploaded. It was so insane, in fact, that it would actually lead to his nomination as the best player of 2021, alongside Crisis, Wolves, and Trick. But there's probably one more thing that I forgot to mention.
What? Tell me, Samifying. Slaughterhouse? I know that one. Chapter 3.
It's October the 24th.
Sorry,
Tartarus was roughly 1 month away from having its 2nd anniversary on top of the list. No other level in the history of the game has survived this long on top. The only one that ever came close in any way was Bloodlust, with its 1 year and 2 month reign on top. This is an achievement filled with tons of history that would kinda deserve a video on its own. But the reason I'm telling you this is because on this date, Tartarus was denied its 2nd anniversary on the top.
What? Oh no. I understand what's happening. Is this Tartarus? This looks like bloodbath. I think I just made some people mad. Sorry.
I can't fucking react, otherwise I'm gonna cough so much.
That's Slaughterhouse?
Oh my god.
Dang, maybe we rip that tomorrow, eh, chat? That doesn't even look that hard.
It was verified by Space UK in what's known as the closed verification race. This is when the original creators of the level choose a specific amount of players to just race for the verification.
Oh, we learned a bit about this in my last video because I didn't realize how verification worked. That's really cool. Wait, chat, because one of the videos we still need to react to is the race to beat Silent Club Step. Was there also a closed verification for that level?
Almost as a sort of, here it is, and good luck. This means that for the case of Slaughterhouse, any of these 13 players could have been the first to beat the level legit.
It was open? Ah, it was like the One Piece. My fortune is yours for the taking, but you have to find it first. You know, type thing where all the pirates are like, we got to find the One Piece. I like One Piece.
In a big race for glory. Whoever survived it first would have their name written down.
Wait, Doggy in the list?
For glory.
That's the only person I know.
Players could have been the first.
Doggy, that is sure.
To beat the level legit in a big race for glory. Whoever survived it first would have their name written down as the player to push the limits of the game to a whole new level. And that is exactly...
Dude, if you put me in a time machine right now and you slotted me into the Slaughterhouse race, I'd lose. Because I'm not good enough at the game yet.
What Space did. Space was such a dominant force in that race that people were already using it as a reason to nominate Space as the best player for that year. Which we now know he won. By a landslide at that. This alone would already be insanely impressive by itself. But Slaughterhouse was special. It wasn't just a level to one-up Tartarus, so it could get...
Wait, Slaughterhouse was special?
It placed a step above. It was a leap in difficulty. To show you just how much it was ahead of its time, to this day, in May 2023, Slaughterhouse...
Oh, this video is freaking almost 3 years old, bro. That's crazy.
It's on the number 4 spot on the demon list. Oh.
What spot Slaughterhouse on now, chat? It's, dude, thank you so much, SCP Slin. Enjoy. Dude, it's like you knew what I was about to ask. Okay, number 24, someone else said number 23, W.
Look who it is. Oh.
So it's still top 25. We'll get around to it tomorrow, chat. I think we hop on to Slaughterhouse tomorrow.
Tartarus sits at number 22. Do you realize how insane that is? The longest surviving level to ever be on top has been pushed down by 21 spots in 1.5 years. As you can see, a lot of stuff has happened in those 2 years, and Space would play a really big part in that. People weren't aware of it back then, but the next 2 years were about to become known as the Slaughterhouse era. The level would remain on top for the next 10 months, which is a testament to how fast players were actually improving. At this point, Space had overtaken the rest of the world and was officially crowned the #1 player purely based on stats alone. That would be a title that he would hold for a really long time, because you see, he was nowhere near his peak yet.
Wow.
I'd be Arcturus, I think.
And this apparently is still, well, we're still in the legit age, right? I don't think he's cheated yet. Or at least I don't know. I don't think he has. Which makes this even more sad if he was literally this good at the game and decided to cheat. L.
Oh, you literally just got 91.
Yes! Yes, let's f***ing go, man. Oh my god, bro. I can't, man. That was so bad.
Oh, he was already cheating? Oh.
Yes, dude!
Pretty sure he started cheating on the golden? Oh. Well, that's L plus ratio.
Oh my god, yeah.
The golden was accidental, I believe. Oh no, I slipped. Step sibling.
No. This is f***ing... Oh Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Yes!
It was? I'll take y'all's word for it. I don't know anything about it.
Yo, I just beat Kiyuki.
No, you didn't.
I did. I just beat it. Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, okay. Okay, cool. Keep going, Brian.
So is that part of why the GD like stream community is kind of obsessed with like including your button taps and all that kind of thing? I guess I feel like someone's mentioned this in chat. Like how do people avoid cheating now? Because I have to think that now the GD community is even on higher alert for like trying to make sure that people aren't cheating.
I beat Akron! I just 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 beat Akron!
I just beat Acheron. 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 Someone sample it and make a beat. Oh, what's cheat indicator?
At this point, he basically had achieved everything a player can achieve in this game. Acheron marked the third time that Space had conquered a new top 1
If Space UK didn't cheat, it would have remained low security on Pointer Crate and more cheaters could rise. That is true. In a way, Space UK died for the sins of all cheaters.
demon over the years. He eventually also went on to not only beat the top 10, not only beat the top 20, but the entire main demonist. Yeah, all 75 levels completed by just one player. I can only imagine how
But what if he didn't cheat? What if actually he made it all up?
many upcoming players were actually looking up to him at this point. He must have been such a big inspiration to so many people. Space himself was doing absolutely amazing. His YouTube channel was popping off. He had garnered the respect of everyone.
Dude, that's messed up. Bro cheated and so he got a bunch of clout and he got more YouTube subscribers. That's how you put it into a way that I can understand. Bro lied and his YouTube sub count went up. Cringe.
Every player in the community, and it seemed like he would go down in the game's history for being the best player to ever touch this game. Until April 2023, where one notable player finally...
Yeah, I know. I heard Zoink surpassed Space while Space was hacking. That is so funny. And that is supreme aura loss on Space's part.
dared to ask the question, "Hey Space, why do your clicks not line up with your gameplay?"
What? No!
I would call this the largest scale hacking scandal we've ever seen in this game.
He was forced to confess. It was not something that he did willingly.
He changed an entire 2 years of Geometry Dash top player history.
I know how much money you made from YouTube. It wasn't a small amount.
Yo, petition to refund all the money he made. Actually, he should donate all the funds. All the money he made on YouTube from his cheating, I think that he has to donate to charity. That's my opinion. Damn, that's crazy. So Space UK cheated? Space UK cheated, bro. He did? Okay, that's based. Reparations, that's based. Does Tej know Space's comeback arc? I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I don't know if there's a video on it as well. But yeah, y'all, that was part 1 of Samifying's Space UK series. Oh my God, part 2 is almost 40 minutes long. Y'all want to watch part 2 tomorrow? I'm hooked, bro. I want to see where it goes. Dude, I love Samifying's videos. Samifying just gives so much background information that I did not have. So W Samifying, as always, be sure to like and subscribe to Samifying. Really love this content creator's videos. Really like them. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye.